Hello, and what is up, everybody? It's me, Marty the Meatman here, your host of Cross Court Coverage, your all-NBA Celtics-focused podcast, proudly brought to you by Boston Sports Zone. Boston Sports Zone Network, it is the place to be for your four key cornerstone, however you want to say it, sports in Boston and the New England area. We got Patriots coverage, we got Bruins coverage, we have Red Sox coverage, and we got Celtics coverage right here on Cross Court Coverage. So be sure to check out BSZ. Take a week off and you already can't say things. Be sure to check out BSZ on YouTube and check out the shows there. And also follow along on Twitter on X. The @ is right here, so it's easy to follow along. Follow anyways. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever all those buzzwords are. We are out of sync, but we'll be right. And first off, out of sync. I'm gonna go off on a tangent before we even pay the bills. Look at me, I'm wearing red today, right? Like, oh yeah, go Celtics. Don't get it twisted. It's still a Celtics podcast, and we're repping Chaminade High School. We're repping Tatum's High School, baby. Don't get it twisted. It's still all C's all the time. Go Celtics or go fuck yourself. We'll start it off with the top and we'll say it again at the end. I digress. We got to give a shout out to friend, partner, sponsor in a way. LongShotsUSA.com. Go to LongShotsUSA.com. Check them out. You can get your very own. It's like Legos for adults. You like to party, you like to have fun, you want to take a shot with your friends, but you don't want to, pour them all. This is more fun. Get yourself a handmade, traveling, compartmentalized shot ski. Single owner, single operator, single creator. The guy does it all. Great friend of the pod. I'm a fan of the product. I got my own. I should probably show you someday. I'll bring it up on the. Well, actually, I can't bring it. It's 6 feet. All right. But yeah, go check out LongShotsUSA.com. Tell them Marty the Meatman sent you. I don't know what that'll get you, but say it anyways. If just for your own health. Next, we also have to plug the merch store. So if you go to cross-court-coverage-shop.fourthwall.com, you can go to this very page that we are looking at here. I got to remember to point this way. There, you can either check the collection or you can find the podcast on Spotify, Apple. You can follow us on Twitter, on X. You can also find the Boston Sports Zone. I believe it's the Cross Court page, but also just the Boston Sports Zone YouTube itself is linked there now. If you go to the handy dandy Explore the Collection button, you can check out the merch. We got stickers. Buy a couple, slap them wherever you want. Do some fun advertising. We got mugs. We got a shirt. We got a hoodie. We got hats of all different types and sizes and colors. Just check it out. I am not trying to turn a profit on y'all. I'll say it every single show. That is not the goal here. I want an army of walking merchandise to be my adverts. That would be the goal. If I could give it away for free, I would. But I can't fund that. So if you buy a shirt or a hat, it's much appreciated. If you can't, it's also, you're here listening, you're here watching, and I still appreciate it. So now that we paid the bills a little bit, let's go back to, we still got the screens we can operate. Good job, fella. Let's take the ticker away. And now we're back. Guess who's back? We're not going to get into his song. We can't do it. I don't think we have the copyrights to Without Me by Eminem. Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA season is over. The regular season, that is. The NBA regular season has ended. The standings are locked, and we're playoff bound. I mean, honestly, tonight is the first games of the play-in. We have, who is it? I believe Miami and the Hornets kicking off. 9 and 10 seed game. And then we also have later on in the night, the Suns and the Trailblazers playing. So play-in basketball. We come back. Playoffs are already rocking and rolling. Now, we normally go into news and headlines. We normally, jump into all the stuff around the NBA, but there's nothing more important you could talk about Doc Rivers. let's just jump on that real quick. Doc Rivers fired from the Milwaukee Bucks. Writing was kind of on the wall. Don't think that will be the only major breakup they have in their offseason since they are not playoff bound. Look, I love Doc. I appreciate him for ring number 17. He hasn't been a great coach ever since he left the Celtics. He honestly wasn't a great coach in the latter part of his tenure as a Celtics coach. Doc paved the way so that we could get Brad. Brad paved the way so we could get Missoula. We'll forget about the Ime year. Whatever. I feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, results weren't there. And that's how you get fired in the NBA. So, like I said, I don't think it's the only breakup that the Bucks are having in this offseason. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep our ears to the ground and try and figure out what Milwaukee's plan going forward is. But that's really the only headline I have to talk about. I'd rather talk about the playoffs, the standings, the end of the regular season, the lottery, all of the fun stuff. Because this is really when the NBA season takes off, in my opinion. And yes, I'm biased and I'm jaded and I'm a Celtics fan. So therefore, all I know is the playoffs, and the regular season is a preseason for us. And okay, sorry that I root for a team that happens to win a lot. I'm not going to apologize for all that much, and there is no sincerity in that apology. But whatever. Do we start with the bottom? We might as well, right? From top to bottom, let's go through the NBA standings, or from bottom to top. Just don't listen to me. Well, please listen to me. We'll start with the Eastern Conference, and from 15 to 1, let's line them up and knock them down. I also have my predictions here from earlier from the preseason, obviously. And so when I announce a team and what their standing actually was, I'll tell you what I predicted them to be. Some of these were close. Some of these were way off. So let's jump into it. The worst team in the Eastern Conference was the Washington Wizards with a record of 17 and 65. Jeez. Not even 20 wins? Come on, guys. I had them ranked at 14, so not much of a fall off there. I expected them to be bad. I expected them to be in the basement, maybe on the stairs to the basement. No, they were parked in the basement all year. Shout out to the Wizards. You have good odds for the number 1 pick. Team 14 in the East, the Indiana Pacers, with a record of 19 and 63. Egg on my face. I had faith in the Pacers. I thought, everyone was talking about the Pacers and the Celtics in the same breath. They're going to be tanking teams. They're going to be lottery teams. They're on the rebuild because their best player was hurt with an Achilles injury. Well, one team, banded together and did great, and then another didn't, and that would be the Pacers. I had the Pacers ranked at 4. I thought they were going to be the 4 seed in the East. So, yeah, egg on my face. I got that completely wrong. Sorry for having faith in y'all. The Pacers are like the little brother to the Celtics. So I have a warm spot in my heart for them. I can't see them at the bottom. But here I am staring at it, and it's real. They are the 14th seed. 13th seed in the East was the Brooklyn Nets with 20 wins, 62 losses on the season. I had them as the 15th seed. I had them at the very bottom. They did a little bit better than expected, but we knew they weren't going to be any playoff or play-in contention. The 12th seed was the Chicago Bulls with 31 wins and 51 losses. I had the Bulls at 11, so not too far off, still eliminated, still not relevant, still no idea what they're doing going forward. They are a team constructed of 90% guards. I'm pretty sure Billy Donovan is resigning or retiring. I don't like. The Bulls are going to be a dumpster fire and a clusterfuck to follow in this offseason. But we have playoff basketball to worry about before that, so I'm not keeping tabs on the Bulls. The 11th seed in the East is the Milwaukee Bucks. The aforementioned Doc Rivers firing, probably losing Giannis Antetokounmpo Bucks. Come in at the 11th seed with a record of 32-50. Yikes. I had the Bucks all the way up at the 7th seed, and that's only because I thought everyone would stay healthy and this whole thing wouldn't implode on itself. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy that they are the 11th seed. I'm happy they're not even in the play-in. I'm praying on the downfall. I'm here with my popcorn, watching it all burn to bits and laughing my ass off. So, no harm, no foul in me getting that one wrong. The 10 seed. So now we're officially in the play-in stratosphere of teams. The 10 seed is the Miami Heat with a record of 43-39. Congratulations to the East, by the way. Just park that Heat conversation real quick. Teams 10 through 1 for like the first time since I think 2022 had a winning percentage over 500. So we're not the weakest conference. You know, we're not completely dog shit. But Miami is the 10 seed. They had 43 wins, 39 losses. I predicted them to be the 12 seed. I didn't think they were going to make the play-in this year. I didn't really know what was going on with the roster going into the season. Look, they had a hot start. They had a very hot start, and we were seeing positionless basketball. We were seeing fast basketball. It looked like Spoelstra was a goddamn genius out there at the start of the season. And then Miami did Miami things. Miami is perennially a play-in team. Ever since the play-in's been invented, they have been in it, basically. I know Bam Adebayo's pissed off about it. I know he said earlier in this season that he is sick and tired of being the 10 seed. He is sick and tired of being in the play-in. He feels like he is a playoff contender, and so should his team. Not saying that this is any ripples. I don't think Bam's going anywhere. But putting up an 83-point game in the season where you could get bounced in tonight's game, because Hornets Heat is loser and you're done. You lose the game, you are out. That is it. Congratulations on the 15th pick in the draft. Speaking of which, 9 was the Charlotte Hornets with a win-loss of 44-38. I had the Hornets at 13. I didn't have any faith in the Hornets. Look, LaMelo is usually never healthy. Brandon Miller has had a bad stint of injuries. I fucking hate Miles Bridges. That doesn't need to be explained. It's pretty goddamn obvious. But I did not think that Con Knipple was going to be the rookie that he was, the three-point shooter that he was, the talent that he has turned into with only one season under his belt. LaMelo stayed healthy, and him and Con were rocking and rolling this season. Honestly, like, the Hornets were a pleasant surprise. Do I think it's just a flash in the pan? Do I think they're probably out in the first round? Or maybe even in the play-in? Probably. But it's cool to see them in there. It's cool to see the Hornets get in the mix and finally be a team that's actually relevant and means something. Like, I'm so used to them being the 14th or 15th seed. For them to be the 9th, like, not even in double digits. Congratulations, Charlotte. You have something going on there. The 8th seed in the East is the Orlando Magic with a record of 45-37. Another one of those egg on my face situations. I thought the Magic were going to be something, be somebody, finally have a year where Paolo and Franz were healthy the whole season, and I was wrong. I had them ranked at the 3 seed, and here we are with them at the 8 seed. It's a creature of injuries, really, that keep seeming to derail the success that the Magic can have. You don't have healthy Franz when you have healthy Paolo. You don't have healthy Paolo when you have healthy Franz. The supporting cast of Jalen Suggs almost always hurt. Mo Wagner took forever to come back this year, longer than expected. There's injuries up and down this roster. The addition of Desmond Bane was sexy in the offseason, but didn't really seem to move the needle all that much. And here we are with them being a play-in team and having to fight to survive just to have a playoff berth. So can't really do anything about that. 7 seed was the Philadelphia 76ers with a record of 45-37. I had the 76ers at the 8 seed. They're right about where I expected them. I thought they were going to be a play-in team. They are a play-in team. So this is right where I saw them being. Next, we have the Atlanta Hawks are the 6th seed with a record of 46-36. I had the Hawks as the 6th seed. Holy shit, I got one right. Way to go. Am I 1 for 15? Is that really what we're going to do for the East? Whatever. 5 seed, Toronto Raptors with a record of 46-36, same as the Hawks, but I believe there's a tiebreaker in there. I had the Raptors as the 10 seed. I have no faith in this Raptors team. I mean, you got a whole bunch of names, you got a whole bunch of talent, but I didn't know how well it was going to mesh. I didn't know how well it was going to work. Shout out to Darko. He's a hell of a coach. He's a lot better of a coach than I gave him credit. And the Raptors surprised me at the 5 seed. I had them 5 spots lower, but they're going to contend. They're going to compete in the first round, so we'll have to see what's to come of their playoff hopes. For the 4 seed, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers with a record of 52-30. I had the Cavs as my 1 seed. I went in believing that the Cavs were going to prove that last year wasn't a fluke and that they are for real. Well, the Cavs aren't for real. That's proven by trading Darius Garland for James Harden and selling your soul to the devil in just hopes of making a real playoff push this year, which I don't think that James Harden's going to do that for you. You picked up a ball-dominant superstar at this point, who he works on the Cavs, but he doesn't work on the Cavs. You were better off trying to figure out the Garland situation. You were better off trying to let him grow into the player he's going to be for the Clippers than going after James Harden. But whatever, that's the deal they made, and they're going to see how long it pushes them into the playoffs. But I was wrong. The Cavs were not for real last year, and they weren't for real this year, and that's why they're the 4 seed. The 3 seed is the New York Knicks with a record of 53-29. I had the Knicks as my 2 seed, mostly because I had a very important team ranked a lot lower. But this is the same Knicks that we've seen for the past few years. It is a little bit different in the sense that they've been utilizing their bench a lot more this year. So shout out to Mike Brown for actually, going deeper than 6 players. Yeah, I mean, the Knicks are the Knicks. It's the same. It's kind of like the same thing. We'll have the rinse repeat for the past 3 years. They're good. Don't get me wrong. The Nova Knicks are great. But I feel like there's a bubble. And I don't know how long this window is going to last. There's talks that Cat might be out. Bodega Cat might be out of New York. If they don't make a push in these playoffs, I think that those whispers might be right. But we'll have to see. Your 2 seed in the East is none other than the Boston Celtics with a record of 56-26. Caveat, asterisk, I said the Celtics' floor this year, their floor was the 9th seed. I said they will be a play-in or playoff team. I did put the caveat that it all depends on when Tatum comes back and how Tatum comes back and his health and conditioning and everything like that when he came back. I had faith that Jaylen Brown was going to be able to run this team. I had faith that Derek White and Peyton Pritchard and the rest of the supporting cast were going to help him in that journey. I believed in a grit and grind Tommy Point season. Shout out to Meg. We've said it all year, and they went out and proved it. This was a team. This was Joe Mazzulla's guys. This was Jaylen Brown's guys. This was a team of grit and grind and telling everyone to fucking sit and spin, because everyone said it was a gap year. Everyone said it was, a tank year. Everyone counted the Celtics out before anything even happened. Before the first tip-off even happened, everyone said the Celtics are washed without Tatum. We've only had Jason Tatum for 18 games, I think it was, by the end of it. Maybe less because he sat a couple of those. 56 and 26. Like, that isn't because Tatum came back. That's because this team did everything they needed to do, because they excelled, because Neemias Queta became a true starting center in this league, because Anthony Simons changed his game and decided to come off the bench and be what Brad wanted him to be during his time here, because Derek White knew that he can do his defensive stuff and not have to always perform on offense just to get a W. This team made sacrifices. This team excelled where it wasn't expected. And it really is one of those. I'll get into it more when we get into it. But look, even I, as a Celtics fan, had them as the 9 seed. I didn't have as much faith as I should have, maybe. But they went above and beyond. They have smashed all expectations and are truly a contender this season. So, to the critics, they got one big middle finger for you. To the fans who were worried, they had our backs. And to everyone who's excited, they are truly contending this year. And they will make a deep run in the playoffs. Speaking of a deep run in the playoffs, the Detroit Pistons are your number 1 seed in the East. With a record of 60 and 22, the Detroit Pistons had a hell of a year. That's also performing when Cade went down with a collapsed lung. Everyone was like, oh, let's see how far the Pistons free fall from the number 1 seed. Nope, they maintained. They kept a 4-game lead, I think, on the Celtics for most of the time that Cade was out. The Pistons are scary, man. They're truly a team that is well constructed, well led. It's like the right amount of developmental pieces that have played out and got chemistry together and have developed into crazy good players like Cade, like Duren, collection of veterans like Tobias. Pistons are a good team, man. And I had them as the 5 seed in my prediction, but I'm kind of proud of the Pistons, dude. 2 years ago, they were absolute dog shit, couldn't get a win to save their lives. And 2 years later, they are the 1 seed in the East, looking poised to make a run. Moving over to the Western Conference. Let's see how bad I did this time. I got literally 1 correct in the East. I was close on a couple, but I literally only got 1. In the West, the 15th seed was the Utah Jazz with a record of 22 and 60. I got that right. I said the Jazz were going to be ass, and the Jazz were ass. Now, that'll change next year. They added Jaren Jackson Jr. I feel like they added somebody else, and I can't remember. But, they're poised to be a better team. They're keeping Lauri Markkanen. They're probably going to extend Walker Kessler. The Jazz are going to climb out of the abyss next season, but for this season, they're dog shit. The 14 seed, the Sacramento Kings with a record of 22 and 60. I had the Kings as the 13 seed. I didn't see them succeeding. I didn't see anything from this roster, and that's what they did. The 13th seed in the West is the Memphis Grizzlies with a record of 25-57. I had the Grizzlies as the 8th seed. I did not foreshadow the entire collapse of the Grizzlies. You removed Desmond Bane and the whole thing fell apart. That was the Jenga block that made this whole thing topple over. Ja Morant doesn't look like he wants to be there. Jaren Jackson was supposed to be the piece that they were building around, and then they ship him away to Utah. If you're a Memphis fan, I'm sorry. I do not know what is in your future, but success is not around the corner. Maybe a year or two before you rebound from what happened this season. 12 seed in the West is the Dallas Mavericks with a record of 26-56. I had the Mavericks as the 9 seed. I thought they could manage as a play-in team. But guess what? Anthony Davis is never fucking healthy. The Nico Harrison, Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis situation doomed this season for the Mavericks. They have now moved on from Anthony Davis. It's the Cooper Flag show. Kyrie didn't play a single minute of basketball this year. He'll be coming back next year. We'll see what happens with Dallas and what they get in the draft. But another probably uphill battle to getting back to relevancy for the Mavericks as well. The New Orleans Pelicans were the 11 seed with a record of 26-56. I had the Pelicans as the 14 seed. I think the only reason that the Pelicans are the 11 seed is because they didn't tank well enough. I think that Jeremiah Fears was like, I want to have a good rookie season. And I think that Derek Queen was like, I want to have a good rookie season. So, while I had no faith in Zion or anyone else on that roster for the matter, the rookies got enough W's to move them up to the 11 seed instead of the 14 seed that I had them at. Now moving on to the play-in stratosphere. We're in the 10 to 8 teams. The 10 seed is the Golden State Warriors with a record of 37-45. Where did I have Warriors? I had the Warriors as the 7 seed. You know what? They probably would have been that if Jimmy Butler didn't go down. And they probably would have been that if Steph Curry didn't miss 25 games. But reality's reality. And they're the 10 seed. I don't think that there's a clock ticking away on the Warriors, and they didn't do themselves any favors by picking up Al Horford or Kristaps Porzingis to add to Jimmy Butler and Draymond and Steph. They're too old. They're too goddamn old. So not only do I not see success in this playoffs, I don't know what their future looks like. They're going to keep grabbing on to hope that the dynasty isn't over, but it's been over, and they're not getting the memo. The 9 seed in the West is the LA Clippers with a record of 42-40. I had the Clippers as the 4 seed, so I'm dead fucking wrong. I thought that this would be the year that the NBA geriatrics would figure it out, but turns out that the geriatrics got broken up. Harden went away. Kawhi, while having a good year when he played, didn't play all that much. Darius Garland's there trying to figure it out. Cool. Benedict Matherin's there trying to figure it out. Cool. Is it Benedict Mathurin or Andrew Nembhard? One of the Pacers guards is there trying to figure it out. Do I think the Clippers are going to be anything in these playoffs? No. Do I think they're relatively poised for the future? Sure. It all depends on what happens with Kawhi Leonard and his whole no-show job situation and the Aspiration Tree Company, and if they get the death penalty and he becomes a free agent. We have to wait and see for all that. And I'm telling you, the second the Clippers are eliminated from the playoffs, that news will break. You heard it here probably 2 weeks ago, and you heard it here today. Once the Clippers are out of the playoffs, they'll tell you what's happening to Kawhi, because that's how Adam Silver operates. The 8 seed in the West is the Portland Trailblazers with a record of 42-40. I had them as an 11 seed. I didn't think they were good enough just yet to make the play-in or the playoffs. They are pretty good. They are still without Dame Lillard. He will not be playing this season. But, Drew Holiday, Toumani Camara, Denny Avdija, very solid team, very defensive team. Should be interesting to see. I mean, obviously they have to make it through the play-in. But if they make it to the playoffs, it should be interesting to see how they match up against some better contenders. The 7 seed in the West is the Phoenix Suns with a record of 45-37. I had the Suns as the 12 seed. I didn't think Dylan Brooks was going to be as great as he was this season, regardless of drinking and driving, because that's off-court stuff. But on the court, he was pretty fucking good for the Suns. Jalen Green and Devin Booker worked in a way that I did not expect. Yeah, I mean, they're a play-in team. I didn't even have them in the playoffs, so I'll take that L. Whatever. I still don't have faith in them. I they're playing tonight. I think they're going to lose, and they very well could lose the next game. They could be bounced in 2 play-in games, but we'll see. Moving into the locked playoff positions, the number 6 seed are the Minnesota Timberwolves with a record of 49-33. I had them as the 5 seed. This is right about where I expected them. They're the same Timberwolves you've been watching for the past 2-3 years. It's going to depend on Jaden McDaniels' health and performance this offseason, or this postseason, I should say. It's also going to depend on Anthony Edwards' health and performance this offseason, or postseason. God damn. You're watching rust fall off a podcaster in live time, in real time. Fuck. Yeah, I mean, Minnie's right where I thought they would be. They could easily, they're a playoff team. They could upset some teams. They could also be bounced in the first round. It will be interesting to see. I don't have all that much faith. The number 5 seed in the West is the Houston Rockets with a record of 52-30. I had the Rockets as the 3 seed. I thought they were going to be a lot better. Not all that much better, but better than they performed this year. I do think that Steven Adams being knocked out early on hurt, but that's not really the biggest thing. KD played really well for them. Alperen Şengün is Alperen Şengün. He's a beast. Amen Thompson, fantastic. Just slightly worse than I expected, but they could be contenders. I predicted them in the offseason, in the preseason, as the Western Conference champions. I don't know about that anymore, but they still have that potential. Like, the ceiling is, they're not winning anything this year. I don't think the Rockets are winning anything this year. But maybe they could surprise us and be the Western Conference champs. Maybe. I wouldn't hold your breath. The number 4 seed in the West are the Los Angeles Lakers. With a record of 53-29, I had the Lakers as the 10 seed because normally that's where they live. But Luka Magic and a timeless, ageless LeBron James and a red-hot inferno of Austin Reeves carried this team all season. Whether one of them was out on injury or a couple of them were out on injury, they figured it out. This Lakers team had more grit. Maybe that's because Marcus Smart is, on the bench, than I expected out of them. And they're a 4 seed, but the problem is that Luka's been in Spain for the past 2 weeks. Getting injections and rehab on his strained and or torn hamstring. It was a grade 2 strain. So someone who's a doctor or literate in this stuff, tell me what that means. But he's been in Europe getting treated, and he's not coming back to America until Friday. And they play on Sunday, I believe. So it's up in the air if Luka's going to be playing. If they're without Luka, it's going to be tough. If they're out without Luka and without Austin Reeves, it's going to be real tough for the Lakers to beat the Houston Rockets. It just is. The Rockets are a very solid team. They're very defensive, and they're going to punish a injured roster. So it's a TBD to see what Lakers team runs out there in game one, and then obviously for the rest of the series. But if Luka's back, and if Luka's 95% of who he's been this year, Lakers could go deep. Not going to lie. And if Austin Reeves comes back and he's 90% of who he's been, the Lakers really could go deep. So it's pending those injuries. And I hate to say it because it's forever and always fuck LA. But they look good this year. And you real got to recognize real. The 3 seed in the West were the Denver Nuggets with a record of 54-28. I had the Denver Nuggets as my 1 seed in the preseason. They were dealing with a lot. The Denver Nuggets were without Joker for a little bit. They were without Aaron Gordon for a little bit. They were without Christian Brown for a little bit. Jamal Murray had a really good season for Jamal Murray. Normally I'm saying Jamal Murray's on a milk carton. Missing. Cannot find. No milk carton for Jamal Murray this year. Let's see if he brings that energy and proficiency into the playoffs because they're going to need it. But they're healthy. I think they have a couple guys who are banged up. I know Peyton Watson, who's been on fire for them as of late. Until he got hurt. This season, he was good. And a couple other guys. I like Denver. I think Denver's got a shot at being the team in the West, but these next 2 teams, they're game breakers. The 1 and the 2 seed, they're both different. And they're truly the teams that I say watch out for. The 2 seed in the West were the San Antonio Spurs with a record of 62-20. I had the Spurs as the 6 seed. I did not see the jump happening the way it happened. But when you have Stephon Castle, and you have De'Aaron Fox, and you have Victor Wembanyama, and you have Devin Vassell, and you have Dylan Harper, and you have Luke Cornett, and you have etc. They are deep. They are bound by chemistry. They are a solid, good team. The aura of Popovich is still ingrained in most of these guys. And the Spurs are dirty. The Spurs could be looking at the start of a new dynasty. And I'm not saying they're winning anything this year, but they're on the up and up. And I could see them being the 1 seed next year. That's just a way too far ahead prediction, but I'll be honest with you. The Spurs are going to be a team to fuck with for the foreseeable future. It's just the truth of the matter. And without further delay, the 1 seed in the West were the Oklahoma City Thunder with a record of 64-18. I had them as the 2 seed. I just didn't want it to be boring and have them be back-to-back 1 seeds, but whatever. They did it with a little bit of adversity this year. Chet was pretty good this season, pretty healthy this season. Isaiah Hartenstein was out of the lineup for a lot. Shea missed some time. Jalen Williams was hurt for 3/4 of the season, and they're still the 1 seed. And I fucking hate it. I don't hate the goddamn Thunder because, I have anything against them. I hate the goddamn Thunder because they're so goddamn good. That's just the reality of it, is they're so goddamn good. They're so goddamn young. They still have a treasure trove of picks. They fleeced the 76ers this season and got Jared McCain for pennies on the dollar. They have AJ Mitchell playing backup minutes where he could start on half the teams in the NBA. fuck y'all. Like, most teams struggle to build this. You took the process and said, I saw what you were trying to do, and just turned it on its head and doubled down. And we're real shit for 2 years, and traded off everybody and got all these picks, and look how it turned out. There's a way to tank, and the OKC Thunder proved that there is a real positive way to tank and turn that into something. So some of these basement teams should take notes, because OKC could be going back to back. They could be. It's just the fact of the matter. They could be back-to-back champs. I'm hoping not, but I'm also a realist. I'll also, I'll own it. They're pretty goddamn good. But that is the rankings as they stand. Obviously, a long, drawn-out way of talking about it, but I wanted to get into it. I wanted to talk about what I predicted and where I fell short, and also what teams weren't as good as people expected, and what teams what teams soared or excelled is what we were trying to say. But I told you I'd get back to the Celtics, and that's the whole goddamn point, right? Never forget the point. Never lose the plot. This team, that team, the green team, the Boston Celtics. I said it at the start. I said it during my breakdown. I was wrong. I was worried. I was cautiously optimistic. And the Celtics went out and performed and excelled this season. Let me put it this way, just so I can take some of the egg off my face and put it elsewhere. ESPN said that the Celtics were only going to have 40 wins. NBC Sports said somewhere between 43 and 48. Bleacher Report, around 44. The Celtics had 56 wins. The Celtics won 68.3% of their games, which is the fourth best record in the NBA. Where they had us playing, where I projected them, where I thought they would be. If you ask some of the Celtics fans at the beginning of the season, during the preseason, we were tanking. We were going for Boozer. We were going for DeBansta. We were going for Peterson. Nah, fam. Not a chance. The Celtics' record versus teams 500 or above, 500 or better, was 31 and 21, which is a 60% win percentage. So against winning teams, the Celtics won 60% of their games, which is also the fourth best in the NBA. Playing teams with a record below 500, Celtics did pretty damn well. 25 wins, 5 losses. That's 83%. That is the second best in the league against the basement dwellers. Again, gap year, tank year, shit year. Doesn't sound like that, huh? Offensive rating on the season, second overall. Defensive rating on the season, fourth overall. Net rating on the season, fourth overall. That ain't a rebuilding team. That ain't a tanking team. The Celtics have 12 series sweeps this season. We swept the Raptors, 4-0. We swept the Heat, 4-0. We swept the Cavs, 3-0. The Wizards, 3-0. The Warriors, 2-0. The Lakers, 2-0. The Suns, 2-0. The Clippers, 2-0. The Mavericks, 2-0. The Pelicans, 2-0. The Grizzlies, 2-0. And the Kings, 2-0. 12 teams couldn't sniff our jock, to put it in gentleman's English. Not only that, there were 6 more teams that we beat in the season series. They may have gotten a win on us, but we beat them in the series. That is the Magic, who we went 3-1 against. The Pacers, who we went 3-1 against. The Nets, 3-1. Bucks, 3-1. Bulls, 2-1. Hornets, 2-1. The Celtics dog walked, basically, 18 teams this season. And yeah, There's teams on there that are scary. The Spurs, they had 2 wins against us. We have no wins against them this season. The Thunder, we split the season 1-1. The Pistons, we got 1 win, they got 3. So yes, there are teams that are better than the Celtics. But if you want to have a conversation about who's going where in these playoffs, the conversation is those 4 teams. My suggestion to all you, the teams to watch out for in these NBA playoffs, I'll start with the Celtics. Like I said, for all the reasons I just ran through, and for the fact that Jason Tatum is healthy and getting back to full form and has already doubled in more games in his 18 games back than people who have played 60-plus games. Mind your P's and Q's. Jason Tatum is here for the playoffs. Jaylen Brown is an MVP candidate. Derek White is an all-NBA, all-defensive candidate. Baylor Shireman on the come-up, could be most improved. He won't be, but he could be. Neemias Queta won't be most improved player, could be. There was a flash in the pan where Jordan Walsh looked like the most improved player. Like, the Celtics are extremely deep and extremely talented at Missoula ball. And they are led by a fearless leader who is ready to go to fucking war. And if the roster wasn't enough to scare you, the man on the sideline should. Because Joe Mazzulla is one bad motherfucker. One bad mamma jamma. And he's going to try his best to get back to the chip and hang banner 19. But if you don't want the homer take, I can talk about other teams in an objective way. The 3 other teams to watch for are the Oklahoma City Thunder, who had the best record in the NBA, won 78% of their games, won 69% of their games against 500 or better teams, which is second best in the NBA. And they had the best record against the dog shit teams. They won 93% of their games against the basement dwellers. They went 28-2. Offensive rating, they're 7th. Defensive rating, they're 1st. Net rating, also number 1. We've talked about it. Everyone knows it. The Oklahoma City Thunder are a good team. They're well coached. They're well put together. They're going to give everyone a run for their money. They're in the Western Conference Championship as far as I'm concerned. I won't guarantee them Western Conference champs, but they're getting to that round. They're getting to the conference finals. No problem. The Detroit Pistons went 60-22, winning 73% of their games. They went 34-16 against 500 or better teams. That's 68% of those games. That's the 3rd best in the NBA. Against the basement dwellers, they went 26-6. That's 81%. That's 3rd in the NBA. I'm sorry, that's tied for 3rd in the NBA. Offensive rating-wise, 9th. Defensive rating-wise, 2nd. Net rating-wise, 2nd. Like I said, the Detroit Pistons, while not as well constructed as the Celtics or well constructed as the Thunder or maybe even the Spurs, there's something about Motor City, man. There's something about the way that those guys play basketball. And you know what? They also have an enforcer. Beef Stew is an X factor. I mean, I've already talked about why I think the Pistons are one of the best teams in the league. And their record and also their stats prove that. My final team to watch is obviously the San Antonio Spurs. They won 76% of their games this season. They went 34-16 against teams 500 or better. That is the best in the league with a percentage of 70% of their games against winners. They won. Their record against the losers, well, they went 26-6, which is 81.3. They tie the Pistons. And then ratings-wise, they get a clean sweep. They are 3rd in offensive rating, 3rd in defensive rating, and 3rd in net rating. Wemby and the boys, they're going to be a team to fucking watch too. Like, let me just pull it up. I don't know why we're even pretending that I don't have this over here. Give me 1 second. Adding it to the stage now. This is what I have as my predictions. Whatever play-in team that plays Oklahoma is getting dog-walked. Oklahoma City's going to move on. I do think the Rockets are going to beat the Lakers. That's strictly because I don't know that Luka or Reeves are going to be healthy. Denver is going to outlast the Wolves. It's really because, one, season series-wise, they beat them 3 times. The Wolves only beat them once. I think that the Nuggets are pissed off from last season and getting bounced by the Wolves. But who knows? And the Spurs are going to dog walk whoever the play-in team is. Clear as day. Then Thunder versus Rockets. At the beginning of the season, I would have said, wow, that's going to be crazy. Now, 5-6 games tops for the Thunder to win that game. I do have something that goes completely against what I said, but you always have to bake in an upset. You always have to bake in the X factor. You always have to bake in the unknown. I have the Nuggets beating the Spurs. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. But Jokic is the best player in the NBA, period, the end. And I think he can beat Wemby, but he's going to need everyone around him putting everything in. So, might be wrong there. Either way, doesn't matter because whoever I said was going to play the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals is going to lose handsomely. The Thunder are probably going back to the finals. I would, not saying I'd put a bunch of money on it, but I put money on it. As for the East, well, the Pistons are beating whoever gets in the play-in. I don't see that being a problem. Same with the Celtics. Don't see that being a problem. Cavaliers and Raptors. This could go either way. I don't really like either of these teams in the long stretch of the playoffs, but I gave the edge to the Cavaliers. Why not? And the Knicks versus the Hawks. I think that this could be another series that could go either way. But I'm going to give the slight edge to the Knicks, and it's only because I want Jason Tatum revenge in the goddamn playoffs. I would love to sweep or gentleman sweep the fucking New York Knicks in the goddamn second round. So much. Just for the vindication. Just to be petty. Whatever. I do have the Pistons beating the Cavaliers. Even if it's the Raptors, I think the Pistons beat either of those teams and move forward. And then in the Celtics-Pistons Eastern Conference Finals, call me a homer, but the C's, the way they played this year and adding Tatum right at the end was just a perfect storm for them to be ripping through the playoffs. I do think that the Pistons will probably be the longest series. Could go 7 games. I'd love to see it. I also think that the finals, if it is between the Celtics and the Thunder, could go 7 games. If the goddamn Pacers can take the Thunder to 7 games, I know the Celtics can. Maybe that means the Celtics can win in 6. I don't know. But I do have Banner 19 going up into the rafters come next year. And yeah, look at the paraphernalia. Look at the hat. I'm wearing a fucking high school jersey of our superstar. I get it. I'm a homer. But I also got facts. And I also got data. So you can take it and run with it. Or you can take it and dunk on me. Either way, this season has been a win. Has been fantastic. Has been a hell of a ride. And I've enjoyed every goddamn minute of it. But ladies and gentlemen, I have been going on and on about the NBA regular season and playoffs. I'm so happy to be back. And I'm so happy we have playoff basketball starting tonight. Started already. We're 24 minutes into the first play-in game. So with that, There's nothing left to do but sign this son of a bitch off. So, as always and forever and always, I am Marty the Meatman. You are the wonderful, amazing, and I am oh so grateful for you listeners and viewers. Together we, our cross-court coverage. Banner 19 is loading. The Celtics are only 16 wins away. And if you are with me, if you are with them, you know what to say. I did not mean for that to rhyme, but I'm going to run with it. For the next month and a half, 2 months, there is one mantra and one mantra only, and it is, go Celtics or go fuck yourself. Peace.